All right. All right. Let's see if I could continue doing what I'm doing right now. Oh, yeah. Channel. So I haven't been streaming for a while, but I figure, you know what? I need to keep up with my statistics and all that stuff and data analytics. So what you watching me do right now is I built pretty much I built a brand new YouTube channel. Um, because I was on YouTube the other day and I saw some videos on how to make money, uh, basically making a faceless YouTube channel, right? And basically, they walk you through creating the channel. So I just went and created a new Gmail account, and I designed this whole channel. As you can see here, I put the banner. I come up. I basically use Chat GPT to help me come up with the design, and I built an app called Vishnu Mode, which is a spiritual app, like a spiritual companion that will help find esoteric or like spiritual type numerology and all these different things that people like to use, right? Or as we say in Trinidad, obia. I built an app for obia, and in doing so, I actually started trying to experiment and play around with using it to help. Maybe I could turn it into something that helps businesses or business owners feel more aligned with the DNA of what their business is. So that's kind of the objective of how Elite 8 AI was born. And then I started doing other things. I started creating content, and now I have uh, for 2026. I figured out what I'm going to be doing for 2026, and I already started working on a book that you guys will be hearing about soon called Suicide Queens. I already started building the music that I'm going to be using for that movie because that book's going to be a movie also, and I already started working on a faceless podcast episode around the topics that I'm interested about. But I just started basically by creating from scratch a YouTube channel, fresh off the boat, and following this guy's process. I'll put the link to the video in the description that I use to come up with this. And he also basically said, listen, you can start a music channel. And I thought, look, I love music. I always wanted to be around music. I always wanted to have a production studio just because I love music. And we fail to realize that we live in an amazing times right now where for a few dollars you could make your dream a reality. I have been able to slowly see my dream coming into manifestation with this advancement in AI technology. Like the amount of jobs I do in one day sitting by this computer, it's like I would have to have an office full of 30 people to do the kind of work I do. I do in market research, business analysis, coding, music, uh, art. I mean, strategy, advice, pushback, social media, blogs, writing, article. I mean, the amount of work I compound in one day, right? Like you would need a company the size of, I mean, put it in perspective, really. You would need a company the size of to do what you could do right now on your computer with a laptop is phenomenal to me because you would need a company like this, 100 employee company to do the amount of tasks that I could get done in a day, right? And I have been learning on the fly. Like I'm telling you, like I have been learning every single app, every single tool, working inside everyone, creating, failing. And when I tell you failing, failing, miserably failing. But in the same way, like learning from that failure, you know? What is that? No, I didn't bring a chair. Yeah, I'm a wife in the background. I was supposed to bring a chair from storage facility today. So anyhow, ooh, I have 9 subscribers. I only made this channel yesterday, guys. 9 subscribers already. I just built this channel from scratch. Right. This moment. Now you know something. I just built this channel. Now the music, how I came up with the art and the music, I'll show you guys real quick. You could I use Grok. I mean, I use pretty much every app out there on the market right now, right? From Claude to, but I basically came here and I could show you kind of like what I was working on. Grok has a feature, and in case you don't know, Grok is like ChatGPT but for like X. And um, what my stuff I worked on last night? Like I just basically came here and I told it, you know, I need this ratio, a vibrant tropical cartoon illustration with a calm EDM vibe, a peaceful island sunset, blah 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 blah. And I basically just told it what I wanted it to create, and it generated these two images for me. And then basically this image, once I download it, I can go into CapCut, which I'll show you here in a second. You know, show you CapCut here real quick. All right, so I'll get that there. So this is CapCut. So like I would, but before I show you CapCut, basically I signed up for a music GPT account. So you guys know ChatGPT, right? So you could go to ChatGPT and have a ChatGPT account. Look, so like right here, you see I built an app called Soul Sync Mode. You could actually create your own apps inside of. Basically, you program it to be how you want it to be for whatever application you want to do. If you want to create another assistant that's designed to you, you could go to GPTs and select apps, create an app, and you can see all here all the work I've been doing, right? Trying to figure out everything. Like I'm asking this thing to help me figure out what's the best SEO, what's the best way to put the description, what's the best strategy, what's going to get me the most views. Can you run some analytics on this genre? Give me feedback. Like this thing is allowing me to do such a refined level of work that would have required teams of people to do a few decades ago. And so now we're living in this time where you could sit by your computer and imagine anything you could imagine. I wrote a book. Now it's my book. It was my voice, right? Let me see if I can pull up the book, right? All right, this is my book. I had all the words pre-written about, I would say, probably for about uh 4 years now. Going on 4 years, I've been writing notes and bits and pieces of this book idea that I had for a cyberpunk futuristic type of story, right? And I have notebooks around here with stuff. And when this AI stuff started coming out, I took my phone and I took snapshots of all my notes from what I had written down over the years and asked it to help me develop the story more and help me fill in the gaps. And the thing was actually pretty good. Like it actually helped me to be creative. And so I was able to leverage. Then finally, once I had everything figured out, because I went through in stages with the book, once I had everything figured out in terms of how I was going to lay out the story, I just went back page by page and started working on grammar. Once I had all the grammar done, I went back again. So it took me like each week I would focus a different task on developing the book, right? And then by the last one, I think I got a final product. Now I have in beta test right now. I have close people on me. Before I even publish a book, I'm having everybody read it to see if they actually feel something from the book. If they don't, I'm going to use that feedback to improve and, and deepen the story more. Because I think I have the story at a level where it could be consumed uh, on a mass media level, but maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to rewrite it so it's more specifically niched to who it needs to resonate with, right? But I was kind of trying to meet both worlds when I wrote this book. And also, the other idea I have is to adapt this book into a movie or a series. I haven't figured it out yet, but that's in the making right now. That's all I'm trying to say is that this idea is already in the making, and I see it coming through. Probably in another few months, the book will launch. Right? And it's mostly going to be fiction, so don't worry about it. If you're not into that. And then I came to Music GPT, which is another website, AI website, where I put my prompt in here. I write a prompt. Let's say lyrics. Lyrics will be. Hmm, let me come up with some lyrics here. Let me do this. I'm gonna go here. I say I want to write song with spiritual lyrics on consciousness and hmm, I did consciousness and love. How about that? We'll go with that, right? I need a prompt. A prompt for music GPT. See what it will give me. Boom. So this chat GPT now working, writing the lyrics for me. Nice. Okay. So now I could take this. It basically laid out everything for me: the style, the genre, the tempo. This is how you could use AI to leverage AI, right? Maybe you feel like I'm not good at asking questions. One of the things you need to understand about AI is if you don't know how to ask the right questions, you don't get the right outputs. Garbage in, garbage out. That's basically the whole thing. So if you want, you could use AI to help you figure out how to format or grammar, that type of stuff. You could ask it. You could say, "Hey, that's what I did here, right?" I'd say, "Hey, tell me what I need in order to wait this. I want to write a reggaeton song with spiritual lyrics, consciousness, and love. I need a prompt." So I'm telling it, generate the prompt that will help me get what I want. ChatGPT pretty damn good to be able to give me something with just 2 lines. I'll tell you that much. That's that's a huge improvement from when I first started using ChatGPT. I got the lyrics, I got everything. Okay? Boom. I'm gonna take these lyrics, right where it say outro, copy that, go back to Music GPT, and put that in the lyrics section. I'm gonna come back here now. I'm gonna take the prompt. This is my prompt. Boom. I'll come back here. Right? Instrument. Let's see what we got. Nah, not instrumental. Just oh shucks, I lost it. Lyrics. Okay, cool. All right, we have what we need, right? I'm gonna click generate. Now it's generating here on the side. Look at all this music I generated yesterday, right? And I painstakingly went through and I wanted a specific song a certain way, a specific sound. I would feed the sound into here, which you could do, right? And then tell it, this is the melody I want. And then it just goes and tries to make it with that melody or that beat. Or you could just do what I just did and put the prompt and generate it. And that's what you're witnessing here. So right now it's being generated. Let me show you some sample of the kind of stuff this thing make. I'm listening. I'm grateful. I accept the call. I didn't choose the timing. Right? That's pretty good. I didn't choose a name. Now I basically trying to create a genre of music. But the reason why I created this genre of music is, for those of you who don't know, I have participated in some ceremonies like ayahuasca and these different kinds of things like that. And when you go through these kind of deep, profound experiences with with ceremonies like that, it really cracks you open in such a way that you feel more sensitive to certain things in the world. So I remember and coming back to real world, and I noticed that I would pick up on people's energy. I would feel the intensity or the emotion around my environment a lot more because you become sensitive. This thing cracks you open. I don't know if you've ever done psychedelics. I do not recommend it. I have the utmost respect for it as a form of healing and helping people work through things. And my life has never been the same since. Like I've been on a trajectory of just dealing with a whole new world basically. I mean, falling, my identity shedding away, having to reinvent myself over and over, day by day, and it's still an ongoing journey. So I appreciate it. But the point was, I started making music here that would be specific or target that niche market. Because I'm sure out there in the world, there's a lot of people like me who are very sensitive to certain things now after going through these kind of ceremonies, and who would probably want music that resonates with how they're feeling. So that's why I started writing spiritual music, but with beats that could be popular and you could be liming and play it in the background, and but it will have a profound meaning. So it will, because all music is subconscious. It lives in your subconscious. So I thought to myself, if I create music with positive lyrics and uplifting lyrics, but it's very catchy and has a nice tune and melody, you could play it in a party, you could play it when you're chilling, you could play it when everybody just in a cafe or whatever, and the lyrics will inject that frequency or that vibration into the environment. I also started working on an app that people will be able to put on their phone called Soul Sync. Now, every single thing that I'm designing around me or a specific product, like the music, at some point that music will probably get used in my movie, right? That's one thing. My book, which will eventually be a movie, which I'm working on right now, right? My my vlogging channels, the one I'm talking to you on right now, right? All of it is eventually going to tie back together, which is what I really see playing out for this whole situation here. When I started this concept or this idea of a business, I wasn't sure how I was going to make it happen. I wasn't sure how it was going to get done, but I just said, just start, Mahesh, with what you have. And that's how I began this journey about 5 years ago. I pick up my camera and I just start filming my life and filming everything I'm doing. And uh, making TikToks, trying to learn the industry, trying to understand, trying to teach myself how this whole thing works, right? Buying mixers and cameras and equipment and learning how to run all that, editing stuff on CapCut and uploading and like that we go in. And I was learning on the fly every step of the way and trying to figure out how to incorporate all the knowledge of AI, because right now AI is a wide open market and it's fresh for the taking. And I recommend to people, just find a tool you like working with. Like I like working with all my tools, right? I work with Canva, I work with ChatGPT, Music GPT, Gemini, Grok, right? Like I use every available tool there is out there to help me maximize my efficiency in whatever I'm doing. And you guys see my content, man. I'm always playing with AI. And I know some of you out there hate AI. I could already see that. But what I've learned is, if you are that person who just hates technology because you think technology is a nuisance or whatever, you're right. That comes from a valid place. And I understand that philosophy and that thought process too. But you also have to have the ability to survive and adapt in this new developing world we are in right now. And I feel like if people are very resistant to trying to incorporate some aspect of it in their lives, pretty soon you're all not going to be able to participate in this new economy that is emerging, right? So, guys, things are not going to be the same. I'm telling you, we are in that transitional phase as a humanity where nothing is going to be the same ever. Like we crossing into that barrier of where you're going to have people who have the money, who could afford it, who are going to be paying to have medical treatments and medical advancements to live 2, 3, 400 years. Like that is the barrier we're crossing right now. Human beings are going to transfer their consciousness into some kind of a machine body. That is where this is set. Or merge with AI. You understand? Or upload the consciousness. Like, this is crazy where this is going. And so I agree with both schools of thought here. I never just pick one side. For me, always been about the middle of the road kind of thing. Yes, involve yourself with technology, do what you can, but don't rely on it. Try to find a way to live a balanced perspective and be able to walk away from it when you need to. Because believe it or not, these companies want you latch on. They want you stuck to them. That's how they get the money. Is sucking your attention. So we as a people, we have to sort of find that balance, I guess. But anyway, so let me finish what I was doing here. I was editing this song. I think this is the one I'm gonna use.
Feet on the earth, breath in the body. I am here.
Huh. I'm gonna bring in some imagery because I want some images here. Let's bring in this one. These are pre-made images that I made in Grok and turn them into a video. Right? Now, let me try this one. Just as an example of what going on here. No?
Feet on the earth, breath in the body. I am here.
Now I will take Control C, Control V. Right? Control V, Control V. So now what I'm doing is I'm creating the imagery for the video in CapCut. So you have the video layer up here and you have the audio layer here, right? A lot of you who have your YouTube channels, you're probably using this already. So you know exactly what I'm showing you. Copy all of these, Control C, Control V, Control V. Right. So now,
How to keep me whole. Nothing takes what isn't given. Nothing crosses what I hold. I don't have to push away. I
Right.
don't have to close.
right.
What is mine stays with me.
You
What
see,
is
the lyrics
not
are trying to
goes. Rooted in the earth.
rooted in the earth. See, I wanted music that I'm going after a targeted niche group of listener who likes this kind of lo-fi reggae beat, but the lyrics is words that goes into your subconscious and sort of like elevate you, keep you grounded, keep you rooted, keep you centered. All those themes reoccur in all my lyrics, as you'll see. So now I'm gonna separate out because I want to edit the vocals on this, right? So I want to separate out the vocals. So I'll go here and I'll click on separate audio, separate vocals. So you're gonna create a secondary track under that will have the vocals. Generating right now. What the reason I want to separate the vocals is because I find the vocals a little too high and a little too noisy. Because when you're creating any work with AI, you're gonna have a lot of artifacts in it, and artifacts is like mistakes and little noise now, little things that you'll have to clean up or sharpen up in order to get the sound just right. So that's why you have to often try and hear the track, listen through, and you'll go back and see the first few videos I uploaded. I made a few mistakes. And that's also a good lesson to learn from this. Is like I literally started this project about 3 or 4 days ago, right? Like figuring it out. I studied it on YouTube. I did some research. I worked with ChatGPT. I came up with a plan and I just started. I created the Gmail account. I created the channel. I edited it. I did whatever verifications I had to do. Boom. I went the next day. I signed up. It was like 20. It's $20 a month for this thing. So I only have a month to use it because then if I don't monetize it after that, I wouldn't pursue it until I could make money from it. But right now, I just said I'm gonna implement the full idea. I just jumped on it. I did it. I got it done. I went and generate imageries. I went and generate all the music. I created all the music already days in advance with this music GPT. And it was a lot of work, like from sun up to sundown, listening to the tone, editing, modifying, saying, no, I like that, but I don't like this. I want it. And each song I was able to do 15 songs in that day. And once I had all the music, then I came back now and I'm doing what you're seeing here, which is like editing, uh, in CapCut. I'll put the track, separate the vocals. I'm gonna lower the volume on the vocals a little bit to like maybe like about right like -10, right? See how that sound. See how that sound there.
If the energy feels scattered, if the edges
I like that
feel
better because it was too loud earlier.
I come back to simple breathing.
So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to
come
filters.
back to here.
I'll go to voice changer, filters, and I'm gonna look for this. I'm gonna say high resolution.
Feet on the earth, breath in the body. I am here.
Right.
The ground receives my weight without asking who I am. I don't need to hold the
Okay, I like that. So I'm still gonna work with it some more and clean it up and try to get it sound better. I want to get my headphones on because I can't do it when I'm on here on the live. So because then I can listen to it more clearly and hear each individual note and tone, and I could continue to separate all the tracks. I could go back here to separate audio, and I could separate instrument, drums, guitar, bass, strings, others. And the reason you want to separate them out is if you hear, like for example, the bass on one of the other songs I was working on, the bass was too high, so I had to separate the bass track like how I separate the vocals track here, and then lower the volume on the bass a little bit, and then I was able to kind of get it to start. So even with AI making the music for you, you have ways to go into editing program with CapCut, and CapCut is so self-explanatory. I mean, I have been loving working with this thing, and every day I keep learning something new in CapCut that helps me so much, man. That's why I feel like where I'm headed right now. I think I'm getting to the point where I could probably produce a movie, like be in that kind of a production, or like produce music. Like it's blowing my mind how we live in that world right now, right? I never had access to this. I used to dream. Look, I even have a mixer here. I used to dream having a studio and interviewing people to be in my movies, and that was my dream since I was a child, having a production company. And I didn't know how I was gonna do it because I didn't have no big education. I didn't have no degrees. I didn't have no kind of big qualifications. I just had a drive, a determination, and I was always working and learning and teaching myself something. I was always teaching myself everything from networking to computers to construction, plumbing, electrical, whatever. I was just always in a learning mode. And I just had the vision of where I would be, and I was like, man, I gotta keep going. And I think I'm finally starting to see it arriving to that point, which is good. And I'm feeling more optimistic, and I'm feeling more like, man, all that struggle and that strife that I went through, and the spending nights up and worrying about where dollar coming from and all that kind of stuff started to slowly go away. I started realizing like, hey man, this is it. You know, you're seeing your way. Just keep going. So just that's what I wanted to show you guys, kind of a little bit of what I've been working on. I haven't been making much. I haven't been making much content in terms of vlogging or anything lately because I've been uh, focused on other areas. Like the book took a lot of my time. That's I can't really film that. I haven't. It's winter time here in Iowa, so I haven't been able to leave the house and go much places or really to say that I'm gonna film anything. And then I was also going through some thinking of where I'm gonna go from here. You know, because the end of the 2025 was coming to an end, and I wasn't exactly sure. Well, what's my next move? You know, because I spent a whole year learning all this AI stuff, everything I could absorb about AI, and I was like, well, where do you go from here, bro? You know, you learn all this stuff. What's your next move? And I think I have a better understanding now since I crossed into 2026. I think I started to see a vision of where this is going. Finally, after a whole year of tinkering and messing around and trying different things, and I see three major projects evolving for this year, and for me, and that's going to be the book, which I should be publishing here on the 26th of this month, and then from that book will spawn either a series or a movie. Not sure yet. I'm either going to self produce it using AI to try and make it and launch it on YouTube, or if I could get one of the bigger networks to invest in it, even better, because then I'll go even more mainstream. But either way, I don't matter. I'm prepared to go either route because we live in a world where you could now decide which route you want to take for developing your projects, which is amazing, phenomenal to me, right? So that's first project for 2026 already slated that I have nearly completed. Oh, pushing that through. Second project I see for myself is the podcast situation. I definitely have a partner or somebody who has teamed up with me from Tanzania. You guys will meet him here shortly when we start filming. And another guy who's a musician, hip hop artist here locally in Iowa. Friends with the two of us. We're going to be coming together soon and putting together a podcast on my other channel. I think we were going to make a separate channel called Three Worlds, One Mic. And that was kind of the idea we had so far. We've been having meetings, talking about that and getting that ready on launching that. So we've been working behind the scenes on that, getting that squared away. And you've seen me sharing all my content across all my platforms, whether I'm lip singing a song or dancing or making a joke or giving my commentary on politics or sharing a comment on how I see things or writing my blogs and vlogs and sharing it out to the public, putting my articles out there. Because I'm trying to build also a digital footprint of what I'm doing. You know, I'm trying to create a trail of like, this is my work, this is my portfolio of work, and these are all the different areas I work in. You know, and this is what I have done. So it's that's why it's so important to publish your work, even if you think it's stupid. And believe me, a lot of my stuff is stuff that people would normally laugh at me for. You know, be like, why I even had an uncle tell me the other day, you're being a disgrace to the family. And I was like, I started to laugh my ass off when I read that comment. I was like, this dude, what does he think we are? Are we like this? You know, it's like he was acting like, oh boy, you on social media, so you would damage the family name. It was just too funny. So it was water off a duck's back. You know, when people, that's why I think I was built. I came up in a generation where you had to learn how to let things slide off your back. You know, see, when it comes to the public, I couldn't care less what anybody says about me, right? If I see a shitty comment or somebody being negative or somebody trolling, two reactions. I'd either laugh if it first I look, is it funny? If it doesn't meet the funny criteria and they couldn't make me laugh, then the second thing is like, yeah, time with them. I just wipe it clean and I move on, right? Now, if I see a comment that is constructive or giving me advice in some way or trying to help, I'm intelligent enough to know the difference. Then I will deal with the comment at that point, you know, handle it and reply or whatever. But for the most part, I don't take on nobody, man. Like I just do me, you know. I just having fun doing me. I always wanted to be a movie star and go to Hollywood and work and make movies and hang out with the stars. And I was like, why I waiting to do all of that? Just do it with what I have and just make it happen. And that's how I got to this point. You know, I didn't care. I didn't business what nobody had to tell me. I just keep going and just keep doing what I want to do. And let me tell you, it's a struggle too because there have days where I will feel like, why even bothering to live this life? You know what I mean? You have your days. You have your days where you get very low and you just kind of start questioning yourself and your existence and like what you're really here for. And also you just start realizing that, okay, cool, you're figuring out how to do this thing. Is you are like an artist in your own life, you know? And I just want to say if you're going through anything, look at your life like a piece of art and you're trying to sculpt or mold yourself into the direction you want to go. And you're figuring out stuff about you too. You're learning as you feeling. Every venture that I did that I failed in, I learned something valuable about myself. Like how to have better discernment, how to look at uh, certain things with a different PR lens. You know, I've made some really poor decisions in the last uh, 5 years or so, where I just been losing money hand over fists and getting into one trouble after the next and the IRS and I mean it's insane. And it's not just me, eh? I have a cousin call me and he was going through similar things in Florida. Like everybody I know going through some severe situation. And it started probably around 2020 when COVID kind of hit. And ever since then, it's just been like one roller coaster ride after our next. And inside of that, we everybody start experimenting and saying, well, yeah, well, let we do this and let we do that, and that's how we get here, you know. But overall, for the most part, I think positive for 2026. And I think I sense and I feel like the more I interact with people around me or places I go, I feel like people are waking up more. There's a lot more awareness people have now about the world and about themselves. And I think these are amazing times, contrary to what we see on the news and social media that tells us that, the sky is falling. But you know what? When you live in this realm of existence, you come to accept, as you mature, as you age, you come to accept the fact that this is always the way it's gonna be for living in this existence. You're always gonna have wars, economic problems and death and disease, and those things will never go away from our species. And the sooner you accept that, which took me a long time to accept, because think about it, when in human history have we never not been at the end of our existence? You understand what I'm saying? Like every generation and that ever lived always had an end of the world story, but the world's still going. And so it made me really think on a deeper level, like, you know what, man, this universe is full of chaos. Anything could happen anytime. So that means I just need to live for this moment. And I guess that's what I just realized here talking to you is I had to live for this moment. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to work and I was really just kind of doing nobody ain't gonna see this. I know that. Because my channel really don't have much views, but it doesn't matter. I just did it because I wanted to share something with whoever, the universe. And I kind of just continue from there and also test out to see if my live working on my YouTube channel. All right, guys. God bless. Happy New Year. Wish everybody the best. You guys, stay positive. We have amazing times ahead. Yes, there are going to be negatives. There are going to be things that are going to be difficult to deal with, and a lot more is going to continue to happen in that regard. But as long as we could try to be the carriers of the light and do our best to be there for the people who may not be able to handle what is coming, you know? So, in times of instability and in times of chaos, be that person who takes charge and becomes a leader in your environment, in your community, and wherever you are. And just know that humanity has always had to deal with that, and it takes us, the grounded ones, being there for those who may not have that vision, to understand that when you're going through a transition, these things have to happen. There's always going to be chaos, you know. So let's embrace the chaos. Let's try to be the best in the chaos, and let's see what we could create, man. Be a creator. Create something for you, yourself, your family, your loved ones, whatever, for any reason. Just create, and create in the way that God gave you the ability to create, whatever that is. Right down to making something for somebody to eat, all the way up to carving something in stone, whatever. You will discover your talents as you go, and you will just lean into it. All right. God bless. Thanks for listening to my rant. Uh, Catch you guys on the next one.